Hilton Hawaiian Village and Disney's Aulani Resort are two of the most popular hotels in all of Hawaii, but they are wildly different. One is right on the most famous beach in the world, while the other brings the magic of Disney to Hawaii on an epic scale. But between surprise hidden costs and fighting crowds just for a chair, choosing the wrong resort could waste hundreds of dollars and hours of your vacation. So which one is actually worth your money? I've stayed at both this year and I am not holding back. Let's kick things off with the pools, because honestly, that's where we're spending most of our time anyway. Now, according to the internet, Disney's Aulani Resort has the top-rated pool on the entire island of Oahu, Hawaii. But the internet also told me I should get bangs once, and we can all imagine how that turned out. So we need to see this pool for ourselves. We're talking about a pool that's more than 8,000 square feet. Plus, it has 2 water slides, a hot tub, and a whole lazy river. This pool area is the absolute center of all the action at Aulani, and it does not disappoint. Everywhere you turn, there's a hidden Mickey or a water feature. There's even a massive multi-level play structure for the youngest guests. And everything is themed like a Hawaiian volcano with lava rock. I mean, a Disney movie could be filmed out here. Honestly, it feels like less of a hotel pool and more like a private tiny water park that just happens to be steps from your hotel bed. But there's a catch. Since there's no giant theme park nearby to lure people away, every person is at this pool all the time. Thousands of guests all needing their own lounge chair on the exact same day as you.
The pools opened up 5 minutes ago and every single chair here is already taken. I think they came down a lot earlier than this to save them. And we did find one in the back though, so I think we're gonna be okay.
So Aulani uses a strict pool chair policy where they will literally confiscate your belongings from an unattended chair. And I don't mean just removing a towel from an empty chair. I mean, they will take your actual stuff from a chair if you leave it for more than an hour. And you'll have to go claim it at a towel hut like a criminal picking up their personal effects. It's wild. And you'll also need to remember to get a new wristband every single day of your stay, which will make sense later on. So Aulani came to play when it comes to pools, but the Hilton Hawaiian Village has 10,000 square feet of competition. Over at the Hilton, they take a different approach. Instead of one giant mega pool complex, we have 5 different resort pools here spread out all across the property. The biggest and baddest of them all is the beachfront super pool. It's 10,000 square feet, so it really lives up to the super name. It's even bigger than the one at Aulani. But if you're looking for water slides, those are hiding all the way over at the Paradise Pool by the Vacation Club Tower. And they're really just some small ones for little kids. They do have a more relaxed chair policy, so you can actually go swim and enjoy the pool without coming back to your chair every 45 minutes out of paranoia. But there's a downside. They use the dreaded towel card system. You get exactly one towel card per registered guest at check-in, and you trade the card for one towel at the pool. It honestly makes me feel like a little kid asking the teacher for a hall pass. And if you lose that card, they charge you for it. Now, I thought there were like 5 or 6 pools here, which sounds like plenty, but let's have a look at the reality. While every guest gets access to the super pool and the paradise pool, some of these other pools are super private, like the Ali'i pool, which is only for guests staying in that specific tower. These are smaller pools, and they definitely don't have the immersive Disney-style theming or water slides, but they are low-key in a good way. It's a peaceful spot at a busy hotel. So in a head-to-head battle, Aulani does in fact have the absolute best pool in Oahu.
The pools here are legitimately way better than at the Hilton.
And really, it's not even close. Sometimes even the internet gets one thing right. Both of these hotels are right on the Pacific Ocean, but the beaches themselves are very different. Neither of these resorts has a private beach. That's right, no matter how much money you drop on a room, the hotel does not own the sand. All beaches in Hawaii are public, so anyone can walk right up and lay down a towel right next to you. The Hilton Hawaiian Village is sitting on the world-famous Waikiki Beach. When you picture an iconic Hawaiian beach in your head, you're probably picturing this beach. You've got views of the famous Diamond Head volcano and miles of shoreline. There's always something going on here, from volleyball tournaments and frisbees to shave ice and music. Not only is it picturesque, this is one of the most legendary surfing beaches in the world. Everyone is having a good time on Waikiki Beach, and you probably will too. But here's the reality check. If you want a beach chair here, you'll have to pay to rent chairs on the beach from a vendor every day because the hotel does not supply any. Meanwhile, at Aulani, you're set up on a gorgeous lagoon in Ko Olina with the highly creative name of Ko Olina Lagoon 1. This lagoon itself is absolutely stunning. It's got really calm waters, gentle waves, which is great for floating around, but it means no one will be surfing right off the beach here. A massive perk of staying at Aulani is that the resort has beach chairs and umbrellas. You can walk right down to the sand and claim a spot like you own the place. Which, again, you don't, and neither does Disney. Remember that wristband you'll need to get every morning here? That's how they make sure you're a registered guest so you can use those beach chairs and the pool. And since it's a public beach, it's not only Aulani guests using it. The lagoon is also shared with all the guests staying at the Four Seasons Resort, which is right next door. Now, the good news is, if Ko Olina Lagoon 1 is too crowded, you can walk a few steps and end up at, you guessed it, Ko Olina Lagoon 2. There's also a Lagoon 3 and 4, if you can believe it. So you have plenty of options to spread out. You just won't find those free beach chairs anywhere else. For For most visitors, even with the paid beach chairs, that Waikiki energy with the surfers and those classic Hawaiian views on a real beach are just too good to pass up. So for the beach round, Hilton Hawaiian Village takes the win. But no matter which beach you choose, the one thing you absolutely must do is get yourself out on the actual water. Whether that's a local snorkel boat or a chill sunset catamaran cruise, promise me you won't spend your whole vacation on dry land. Which brings us to the real question. When you're paying hundreds of dollars a night, which of these rooms do you want to come back to? After a long day of being in the Hunger Games for pool chairs, where you're actually sleeping matters. Both of these resorts have regular hotel rooms and vacation club towers.
This is our room at Aulani.
At Aulani, these regular hotel rooms are really modern and spacious, and they're incredibly well maintained. There's tons of space for your luggage, so you're not tripping over it every 5 minutes. You get plenty of drawers, a real closet. They even have these extra little nightstand shelves on the far sides of the bed, which I personally deeply appreciate. With around 800 total rooms, including those vacation club ones, the Disney standard of excellence is around every single corner. Everything feels clean and high-end and intentionally designed. If you've ever been to Disney World, these rooms are the equivalent to a deluxe Disney resort, which means you're getting top-tier comfort. Let's flip over to the Hilton Hawaiian Village, which operates on a completely different scale. They have over 3,000 rooms here, spread out across multiple towers. So your experience is going to vary wildly depending on which tower you're in.
The Hilton is complicated.
Everything really depends on which tower you stay in, because that changes it all. If you saw my mistakes to avoid at the Hilton Hawaiian video, you know there's one tower that's the best. Some of the towers have been recently renovated, while others feel like they're holding on to some memories and dust from a decade ago.
This room smells a little musty, if I'm being honest.
Overall though, the rooms are pretty standard. They're totally fine, they're clean and functional, but they aren't going to blow you away, and they definitely don't have that immersive Hawaiian theming you'd get at Aulani. It's basically your classic, reliable corporate hotel room, except it's just steps from tropical paradise. Where the Hilton really flexes is the room views. Because of how the towers are set up, you can basically order up whatever backdrop you want for your vacation. You want to see the iconic Diamond Head volcano? Done. You want endless wide open ocean? Done. You want a pool view, a Honolulu city skyline, a front row seat to a marina full of boats? Done. I will say, I spend way more time out on the balcony here at the Hilton Hawaiian than I ever do at Aulani. There's just always something fun going on here. You can sit out here for an hour and just people watch if you want to. But when we look at the actual living spaces of the rooms, Aulani takes the rooms battle hands down. But there's another crucial factor to consider. Both of these resorts have a massive wild card though, sitting right outside your door. The Hilton Hawaiian Village has its own saltwater lagoon. And it's huge. It's sitting over on the far side of Rainbow Tower, and it's big enough that people are out here full on paddle boarding. Of course, this is one of the views you can have from your room too. And even though it's sitting right at the hotel, It is part of the beach, so it's open to the public. Anyone can pay to pedal one of those giant water tricycles around if they want. Aulani boasts their own small, on-site, private snorkel lagoon called Rainbow Reef. And honestly, it gets mixed reviews. To me, it gives major swimming in a fish tank vibes. Plus, they charge you extra for it. So, in my opinion, this is not a feature you should base your entire multi-$1,000 vacation on. Especially because I'm thrilled to report that there are actual real wild fish living all over the Pacific Ocean. All that snorkeling can make a person hungry. I mean, deciding what you're going to eat is easily half the fun of going on vacation. So which hotel is smooth sailing for dinners, and which one makes you jump through hoops for some mediocre food? Aulani has a few restaurants on property, and one of them offers something incredibly unique that you cannot find anywhere else in Hawaii: a character breakfast with Disney characters. If you watched my mistakes to avoid at Aulani video, you already know I'm obsessed with this breakfast. The food is delicious. They serve traditional Hawaiian malasadas with it.
I was a big fan of the character breakfast this morning. I thought it was fantastic. The characters came around all the time. I liked it twice as much as I did the really expensive dinner last night.
As much as I love starting my day with Mickey, I do not love the oceanfront restaurant here. I really didn't like my food at all, but luckily the portion was so small there wasn't very much of it to suffer through anyway. And it's so incredibly expensive. We're talking hundreds of dollars for just 2 people. If you're planning on paying for a whole family, you might need to sell one of your cars first just to pay for it.
I can't believe that we just paid this much for dinner.
On top of that, this resort suffers from the dreaded Disney dining reservation system. This means you need to pick the exact time you'll be hungry for dinner weeks or even months ahead of your trip, because you need to get a reservation the second your booking window opens. And honestly, the food situation at Aulani just doesn't seem big enough to support all the people staying here. So you'll also need to make plans to eat outside the resort for a lot of dinners. Then we have the Hilton Hawaiian Village, which takes the opposite approach. It has something like 20 different restaurants right on the property. You never have to go very far for dinner at night if you don't want to. There's everything here. You want a fun hibachi-style dinner? Done. Fresh seafood? Done. Just want a pizza to go back to your room with? Done. They even have a Hawaiian ice cream shop at the hotel. It's really like a small city. You could eat a completely different type of food every night of your trip. Whether you want a fancy table service dinner or something to go, the options feel endless. Now, the one big thing to note here is that all these restaurants we're talking about are completely open to the public. That's because they're all located in this big outdoor mall area that's connected to the resort. And this mall has the best theming of anywhere on property, in my opinion. It's owned by the Hilton, but anyone can visit. Even though Aulani has that amazing character breakfast, all these restaurants being walkable from the Hilton and with no need to set an alarm months in advance just to secure a table, the Hilton Hawaiian Village wins the food category easily. And they have another ace up their sleeve. One of the biggest differences between these two hotels is where they're actually located on the island. They live in two completely different universes. The Hilton Hawaiian Village is right in Waikiki. You have the entire city of Honolulu at your fingertips. If you want to see some of the most famous attractions in all of Hawaii, they're right here. If you want to hit up some must-do activities like Hanauma Bay or see Pearl Harbor, you're in the perfect spot. But because you're right in the middle of a big city, parking is at a premium. I'm not even joking. Just to park your car overnight could cost you almost $100 a night.
I can't believe we're just paying this much for parking. This is crazy.
Your rental car will have its own rent to pay at this point. Aulani is located all the way out in Ko Olina. It's a pretty far drive from the airport and from all those famous Waikiki attractions. You're pretty secluded over here. And because it's so far from the main area on the island, a lot of people end up just staying at the resort for almost their entire trip instead of going out and exploring the island.
We're a long way from Waikiki and the other parts. This is really kind of secluded, but also pretty trapped over here. It's a lot of effort. I mean, to go out of the resort and then drive a long ways to go somewhere else. But if you didn't want to, you don't have to.
But the good news is that parking is at least a little bit cheaper over here. It's not free, obviously, but at least you won't have to take out a second mortgage just to park a rental car for a week. But they get you with the price of the room. Aulani can sometimes run you double the price of Hilton Hawaiian Village. Of course, prices vary depending on when you go, but it's possible to see a room at the Hilton going for just a few $100 a night, while Aulani can sometimes be $1,000 a night. Am I having $500 more a day of fun here is the real question. So which one is actually worth your money? Aulani has that immersive Disney magic. It's a true destination resort, meaning you could drop your bags, never leave the place, and be perfectly happy. But you might be paying double the price for the privilege of being pretty isolated from the rest of the island. The Hilton Hawaiian Village puts you right on the most famous beach in Hawaii. You're in the center of the action, you can walk to things, and it might save you a lot of money. But it feels pretty generic inside, and most of the amenities like the restaurants and the lagoon are open to the public. If you'll be out and about exploring Oahu and seeing the sights, save your money and use the Hilton as your home base. But if you just want to park yourself by a pool and ignore the outside world, it's worth it to pay the big bucks to stay at Aulani. Or you can do what a lot of people do and choose both. You could always do a split stay where you stay a few nights at one, then move to the other. I have tons of videos about other hotels in Hawaii and around the world, so be sure to subscribe.